Sunday dinner at Mom's house had become a monthly obligation I couldn't escape without drama. This month I walked into the dining room to find my entire family already seated. Mom at the head of the table, my brother Connor and his wife Ashley on one side, my Aunt Beth and Uncle Mike on the other. And in front of my usual chair sat a stack of legal documents. "What's this?" I asked, picking up the top page. "Sit down, Natalie," Mom said. "We need to discuss something important as a family." I sat, scanning the document. It was a quitclaim deed transferring ownership of the house from me to Connor. "I'm not signing this," I said immediately. "Don't be difficult," Mom said. "Connor and Ashley are expecting their first child. They need a proper home. This house is too big for you and your mother living alone, and frankly, you've been selfish keeping it to yourself." "Keeping my house to myself," I repeated slowly. "The family home," Connor corrected. "Mom raised us here. It has sentimental value. And let's be honest, you didn't really earn it." I looked at my brother, 3 years older, perpetually unemployed, currently living in Ashley's parents' basement, and tried to remember the last time he'd held a job for more than 6 months. "I didn't earn it," I said. "You know what he means," Ashley jumped in. "You just happened to be living here when your mom had her financial troubles. You took advantage of the situation." The financial troubles were Mom's bankruptcy 7 years ago. The bankruptcy that had threatened to take the house she'd lived in for 30 years. The house where Connor and I had grown up. "Natalie, you were already living here rent-free," Mom said. "When the bankruptcy happened, it made sense to transfer the house to you temporarily for protection. But Connor's starting a family now. It's time to transfer it to him." "Temporarily," I repeated. "For protection." "Exactly. You've had 7 years of free housing. Connor and Ashley need it more now." I looked around the table. Every face showed the same expression. Agreement that I should simply sign over the house I'd lived in, maintained and paid for since Mom's bankruptcy. "Let me make sure I understand," I said carefully. "You want me to sign over the house to Connor because he's starting a family?" "Finally she gets it," Connor said, smiling at Ashley. "And you all believe I've been living here rent-free for 7 years? "Well, obviously," Aunt Beth said. "It's your mother's house. Why would you pay rent to live with your own mother?" "Why indeed," I murmured. I pulled out my phone and opened the folder where I kept all my financial records. 7 years of documents, meticulously organized because I'd learned early that family memory was conveniently selective. "Before I sign anything," I said, "I'd like to clarify a few things about the bankruptcy and the house transfer." "There's nothing to clarify," Mom said impatiently. "You know the situation. I had debt, the court was going to take the house, we transferred it to you temporarily to protect it. Now we're transferring it to Connor. Simple. Mom, do you remember who paid off your bankruptcy debt?" She waved a hand dismissively. "The court handled all that. That's what bankruptcy is for. Chapter 13 Bankruptcy requires a repayment plan. Someone had to fund that plan. Do you remember who?" Silence. "I paid $47,000 over 3 years to satisfy your bankruptcy repayment plan. I have every receipt." "That's not," Mom started. "I also paid $63,000 in back mortgage payments to prevent foreclosure before the bankruptcy was even filed. The house had been in default for 8 months. Connor frowned. "Dad said the bank worked out a deal." "The bank worked out a deal because I paid what was owed. Then I paid an additional $28,000 to bring the property taxes current. Total, $138,000 that I paid to save this house." "Even if that's true," Ashley said quickly, "you were living here. You benefited from saving it." "I was living here paying $2,400 monthly in rent to Mom while working 2 jobs and saving every dollar I could. I have 7 years of canceled rent checks." Mom's face was getting red. "That money was for household expenses. It was rent. You deposited it like rent. You reported it as rental income on your taxes. Or you should have. We can check with the IRS if you'd like." "This is ridiculous," Connor said. "Even if you paid some money. $838,000. The house still belonged to Mom. You were just helping family. The house belonged to Mom until the bankruptcy court ordered it transferred to me as part of the debt restructuring. That wasn't temporary. That was permanent." I pulled up the bankruptcy court records on my phone. Chapter 13 Bankruptcy, Case number 2016 to 48392. Filed March 2016. Final order entered December 2016. Let me read the relevant section. I cleared my throat and read from the screen. Petitioner's primary residence located at 4521 Oakmont Drive shall be transferred to daughter Natalie Chin to satisfy secured debt obligations and prevent foreclosure. Transfer is permanent and irrevocable as condition of debt discharge. Permanent and irrevocable, I repeated. That's what the judge ordered 7 years ago. But you said it was temporary, Mom protested. You said you were just holding it for me. I said I would take care of it. I said I would make sure you always had a place to live here. I never said ownership was temporary. That's the same thing. It's absolutely not the same thing. You've lived here rent-free for 7 years because I own the house and chose to let you live here. Connor's lived here rent-free multiple times when he was between jobs being a generous description, because I allowed it. I can't believe you're throwing that in my face, Connor said. I'm not throwing anything. I'm clarifying who owns what before I'm asked to sign it away. Uncle Mike spoke up for the first time. Natalie, even if the house is legally yours, surely you can see that Connor needs it more. You're single, successful, you could buy another place. Connor's got a baby coming and no job. Again. That's temporary, Ashley said defensively. He's between opportunities. He's been between opportunities for 15 years. Meanwhile, I've worked continuously since I was 16, paid Mom's debts, saved this house and maintained it entirely on my own dime. But family helps family, Aunt Beth insisted. That's what your mother did for you, gave you a place to live. In the house I legally own. That I paid $138,000 to save. That I've spent another $85,000 maintaining and improving over 7 years. The number shocked them. I could see it in their faces. $85,000? Mom whispered. New roof $22,000. HVAC replacement $14,000. Kitchen renovation $31,000. Bathroom updates $12,000. Foundation repairs $6,000. That's just the major work. Small repairs, maintenance, property taxes, insurance, it adds up. I helped with some of that, Mom protested weakly. You contributed $3,000 toward the kitchen renovation. I covered the remaining $28,000. Connor stood up abruptly. This is insane. You're really going to count every dollar? We're family. You're really going to demand I hand over a house worth $520,000 that I saved and paid for? Where family works both ways, Connor. Mom needs to live somewhere. Mom lives here. Rent-free. In the house I own. She's welcome to continue living here as long as she wants. But I'm not signing it over to you. Natalie, be reasonable, Mom said, her voice taking on that pleading tone she used when she wanted something. Connor deserves a chance at homeownership. You've had your time here. It's his turn. His turn would be him buying his own house. With his own money. From his own job. I have job prospects, Connor said defensively. You've had job prospects for 15 years. Meanwhile, I've had actual jobs. Multiple actual jobs that I worked simultaneously to save this house. Ashley stood up next to Connor. This is incredibly selfish. We're trying to start a family and you're hoarding a house you don't even need. I live here. I own it. I maintain it. That's not hoarding, that's homeownership. You could buy another place tomorrow if you wanted, she pressed. So could Connor. If he had a job. And savings. And any financial history beyond debt and bankruptcy. How dare you, Connor started. How dare I what? State facts? Connor, you filed bankruptcy yourself 3 years ago. You defaulted on student loans you took out for a degree you never finished. You've been evicted twice. No bank would give you a mortgage if you begged. That's why he needs this house. Mom said desperately. He can't qualify to buy one on his own. And that's exactly why I'm not signing it over to him. This house is worth over $500,000. It's my financial security. It's my retirement plan. It's the asset I built through years of sacrifice and hard work. Your retirement? Mom's voice rose. You're 31 years old. Yes, and I plan to retire someday. With assets I've protected and grown. This house is part of that plan. I stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the yard I'd landscaped myself last summer. Let me tell you what would happen if I signed this house over to Connor, I said quietly. Within 2 years, maybe less, he'd default on the property taxes because he doesn't have steady income. The county would file a lien. He wouldn't be able to fix it because he has no savings and can't get a loan. Eventually, the house would go to tax sale. You'd all lose it completely. That won't happen, Connor protested. It's exactly what happened to Mom. History repeats itself, especially when people don't learn from it. This is different, Mom insisted. How? Connor has the same financial habits you had. No steady income, no savings, no concept of how to maintain property. The only difference is I won't be here to bail him out because I'll have given away my only major asset. Aunt Beth tried a different approach. Natalie, what if we put it in writing? Connor promises to let you live here as long as you want. Like the temporary arrangement that was supposed to protect Mom's house 7 years ago? I'll pass. You're being cruel, Mom said, tears forming. I'm being clear. There's a difference. Uncle Mike pulled out his phone. Let me look up this bankruptcy case. 2016 to 48,392, you said. Be my guest. He typed for a moment, then his expression changed as he read the screen. Jesus, Natalie. This is all accurate. The judge's order specifically says permanent transfer to you as condition of discharge. I know what it says. I was in the courtroom when the judge signed it. Why didn't you tell us? Aunt Beth asked. I tried. Multiple times. Every time I mentioned the bankruptcy proceedings or the house transfer, someone changed the subject or told me not to worry about boring legal details. Connor grabbed Uncle Mike's phone and read the screen himself. His face went pale. This says Mom agreed to the permanent transfer. She did. In writing. In front of the judge. Because it was the only way to satisfy her creditors and keep from losing everything. I didn't understand what I was signing, Mom protested. You had a bankruptcy attorney who explained it 3 times. I was there. You understood, you just didn't like it. But you liked it more than being homeless, so you agreed. The room was completely silent now. So that's it. Ashley finally said. You're just going to keep the house and kick Connor's family to the street? Connor's family lives in your parents' basement. That's not the street. And I'm not kicking anyone anywhere. I'm declining to hand over my house to someone who can't maintain it. What are we supposed to do? Connor asked, and for the first time he sounded genuinely lost rather than entitled. What every other adult does. Get a stable job. Save money. Build credit. Buy your own house when you're financially ready. That could take years. It took me years. I worked 2 jobs through my 20s. I lived on almost nothing. I saved every dollar I could. I earned what I have. With Mom's house as your foundation, Aunt Beth pointed out. With $138,000 of my own money rescuing a house that would have been lost otherwise. Mom didn't give me a foundation, she gave me a crisis. I turned that crisis into an asset through my own work. Mom stood up, her face streaked with tears. I can't believe my own daughter would do this to family. I can't believe my own family would try to take my house without even acknowledging that it's mine. Where am I supposed to go? Mom asked. You're not going anywhere. You live here. This is your home as long as you want it to be. But it's my house. But Connor. Connor needs to figure out his own housing. Like I did. Like everyone else does. Connor grabbed the quitclaim deed and ripped it in half. Fine. Keep your precious house. But don't expect me to speak to you anymore. I'll survive, I said quietly. They left in a storm of slammed doors and angry voices. Aunt Beth and Uncle Mike followed more slowly, Uncle Mike pausing at the door. For what it's worth, he said quietly, you're not wrong. Your mom's bankruptcy was a disaster I helped her navigate. You saved her. Connor would destroy what you built. Thank you, I said. After everyone left, Mom remained in her chair looking small and defeated. You really won't give Connor the house, she said finally. I really won't give away the asset I spent 7 years and over $200,000 protecting and improving. I thought you did that for me. I did. And I did it for myself. Both things can be true. Connor will never forgive you. Connor will be fine once he realizes he actually has to take care of himself instead of waiting for someone to give him things. When did you become so hard? Mom asked. When I had to be. When I was 24 years old working 16-hour days to save us both from bankruptcy. When I was watching every dollar while Connor was defaulting on loans for a degree he didn't finish. You didn't notice I was becoming hard because you were too busy noticing Connor's potential. She didn't have an answer for that. I'm going to my room, she said finally. I need to lie down. Your room, I agreed. In my house. Where you're always welcome. After she left, I sat alone at the dining room table with the torn quitclaim deed pieces scattered across the wood. My phone buzzed. A text from Uncle Mike. Sent you the bankruptcy records. Keep them safe. Connor seems like he might try something. Another text from a number I didn't recognize. This is Ashley. You're a selfish bitch and karma will get you. I blocked the number and deleted the message. Then I opened my laptop and pulled up my mortgage satisfaction letter from the bank, my property tax records showing 7 years of on-time payments, and the deed showing me as sole owner. I'd saved this house when I was 24 and had no idea what I was doing. I'd worked multiple jobs, sacrificed my social life, lived on rice and beans for months at a time. I'd learned about bankruptcy law, property law, and financial planning because I'd had to. And I'd done it all while my family assumed I was just living rent-free in Mom's house, taking advantage of her generosity. Now they knew the truth. I owned the house. I'd owned it for 7 years. I'd saved it, improved it, and protected it. And I wasn't signing it over to anyone. My phone buzzed again. Mom, Connor called. He's very upset. Can we please talk about this more tomorrow? I replied, the house isn't up for discussion. But I love you and you're always welcome here. No response. I walked through my house, through the kitchen I'd renovated, the rooms I'd painted, the floors I'd refinished. Every corner showed evidence of my work, my money, my care. This wasn't the family home. It was my home. The home I'd built from the ruins of Mom's bankruptcy, through years of sacrifice and hard work. Connor wanted it handed to him because he deserved a nice house. I'd earned mine. And no amount of family pressure was going to make me give that away. I raised a glass of water to the empty dining room. To ownership. To boundaries. To the difference between earning something and demanding it be given to you. The house was quiet. Protected by bankruptcy court orders, property deeds, and 7 years of cancelled checks proving exactly who'd saved it. Tomorrow Connor would still be angry. Mom would still be disappointed. Ashley would still be sending me blocked texts. But I'd still own my house. And that was exactly how it should be.